Did you see that clip going around of the wrestler lifting the wrestler over his head and the referee lights the wrestler on fire? And then the guy throws him towards a table that's so far away from the ring, no one could have done it. Did you see this?
Yes, I did. I saw that on the Twitter machine. And it's, again, it's Darwin. It's nature taking its course. You didn't even do justice to the table throw. He threw him in the direction of a table that was sitting in the back of the arena. And the guy fell, easily 10 feet short. If not, but while he was on fire. And then a bunch of other people swarmed him or whatever. But we'll talk about referee involvement in a few minutes. But I think it's safe to say that, yes, you can call that referee biased if he intentionally sets one of the participants on fire.
Do you think it's worse for a referee to hold a ladder or to light the opponent on fire?
Well, let's not give him any ideas for next week. You know, Tony's susceptible to things like this. If he thinks 15 people got a chuckle over it on the fucking internet, he'll book it on national TV. But yeah, I think we can definitely say that is a biased referee if he sets one of the participants on fire.
You know what? I'm not a fan of the fire spots. I don't know why anyone would be. And I wouldn't use them. And I'm not justifying them. But if you were going to use them, I would say you should start by having people there so that it means something. When there's no one there, why are you lighting someone on fire to throw them?
Because there's somebody with a camera and they're doing it for themselves. And that's what the problem with some of Tony Khan's talent is. They don't get out of that mindset when they actually end up finding themselves in some freak nature on national television. They still, there's a camera here. I can save this and watch it at home with my friends before we play video games.
Do you think he told that wrestler, I could make the throw? I've done this. You don't weigh that much. I've been lifting for years. I can make it from here to that table.
I'm sure he had to have, didn't he?
Or did he not expect the table would be all the way in the back of the room?
Well, but maybe, I don't know, hold my hand and walk through this with me here. Maybe he wasn't even throwing him at the table just happened to be sitting there and he just said, I'm just going to throw you as far as I can and just see what happens. Because you're on fire anyway. So what does it matter really how you land when you're on fucking fire?
Can you imagine you going through the air, you're in flames, you're like, you know what? Nothing will ever be worse than this. And then bam!
Yeah.
Oh, man!
But that's the thing. Maybe we have misapprehended this thing and he wasn't aiming at the table at all. We were thinking he's trying to do Lawler and LeDuc in the Coliseum again, but only with 20 extra feet, right? No, he just happened to pitch him in that direction because that's the farthest he could fling him and not land on anybody, because there were no fans there. Well, there were no fans in the building, really, but there were definitely no fans in that area. So I'll just pick you up and throw you as far as I can.
Lawler and LeDuc, how far was the actual distance? Because on the video, because it's shot from ringside almost below it, it almost looks like he goes up and down as opposed to across.
He did. Well, it was an up and down, and I will say from being there, not that night, but from being there and knowing where the table sat and where I was, the table from the apron of the ring, 8 feet, maybe 10. Because I could, that's about they had a nice wide ringside area at the Coliseum in Memphis because they, had the cameraman around and also they didn't want a lot of trouble and they had room on the floor in the Coliseum. So it was about 10 feet. And Lawler has actually even said afterwards when he went back and looked at the video, because it was nobody had ever tried something like that before. He had visualized that he could do it, but he screwed it up because as LeDuc had him over his head in like a press slam position and was walking, and he was going to go right to the ropes and then pitch Lawler, and Lawler thinking if I can splash the table, I'll be okay. Lawler just out of reflex, and usually he would never do something like this, but you see on the tape, he reached down and grabbed that top rope as he was going over it just out of instinct or whatever, like, oh shit, I'm going over the rope. And he said that may have slowed down what LeDuc was trying to do that because he got him 9 feet, not 10, but 9. And Lawler went right in the side. And that wasn't one of these Home Depot fucking banquet tables. This was the the table they used at ringside in Memphis every week was heavy oak.
Yeah, the table didn't budge. Lawler budged.
Well, yeah, because it didn't fold. It was heavy oak with legitimate fucking 4x4 legs, and it was built that way, and it wasn't a foldable table. And about a year later, they had that Fargo's match that I was at, and Jackie Fargo determines he's going to turn that table over and take a table leg into the ring with him. And God, he had to kick that son of a bitch about 7 or 8 times before he could break that leg off. And then the wood didn't break. He brought the nails out with it. So it was a hefty fucking table. And yeah, LeDuc got Lawler 9 feet, not 10. This guy would have had to gone 30 feet or whatever anyway. So it was ridiculous.
Well, that's independent wrestling news, ladies and gentlemen.
And besides that, Lawler did it in front of 8,000 people as a kickoff to an angle with a guy he worked with all summer and probably made in the mid 5 figures just off the matches in Memphis.
I can't even name one of the participants in this clip that's going around.
Nobody else ever will either. But anyway,